Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So I hope everybody's well. I hope you're excited about the holidays and you've been getting ready, getting prepared. I have a very fun sort of a last minute Christmas project that you can do using watercolors and a few basic materials. And I also have the opportunity for you to be able to purchase one of these sets that I've put together, a little kit for you. And the information about that kit is at the post directly underneath this one. So if you'd like to check that out, you can do that on my Facebook group. And it's very easy. This is something that anybody can do, whether you're a watercolor painter or a stamper. I'm going to show you how you can get a really nice result with very little effort. So let's get started. So the subject that we're going to be painting is holly, which also happens to be the subject of the Watercolor Card Club this month. And if you're interested in learning more about the Watercolor Card Club, please go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and go to the tab that says Watercolor Card Club. And there's a lot of information there about how it works and what we'll be painting this month. And it's going to be holly. There's just 3 more days. So if that's something that you think you might be interested in subscribing to, please do that before December 11th. But for a quick little introduction today, I thought what I would do is show you how you could paint some holly using a stamp to help get you started. So to do that, I'm going to be using this cute little holly sprig in the Happy Holidays stamp set. And you can sketch this freehand too, but if you're somebody who's not feeling certain of your drawing ability, then go ahead and use the stamp set. It makes it a lot easier. And I'm going to be using these items. So in my stash, I discovered that I had several of these itty bitty Christmas stamp sets, which are now retired. And this is a stamp set that I love because these sentiments, all of these holiday sentiments, are no bigger than your finger. Okay, so they're great for little cards, and that's what I'm going to be making today. I'm going to be making a little card, and for that I'm using the note card sized card base, and that measures 3.5 by 5, and you can get the pre-cut and pre-scored note cards and matching envelopes in a really nice package like this. And there are, let me see how many, there's 20 of them in here. Okay, so in the card kit that I'll be putting together to send out later today, you will be getting a full pack of the note cards and envelopes. You'll also get 5 pieces of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper that you can cut down into quarters so that you will have enough of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper to mount on the front of your card, but I'll show you that later. I also have some real red. I've got some ribbon, and I've got a couple of scraps here of very vanilla cardstock. And then I've got a couple little items here that I'll talk about in just a minute. But let's get started painting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my my holly stamp mounted up. And I'll zoom you in so that you can see better what I'm doing here. And I think for this, I'm going to grab some Sahara sand ink to do my outlines. And I'm going to stamp off once because I just want a really nice light image. So first I'm just going to test, see how dark this is printing. Oh, actually that's pretty light. All right, so I'm going to go ahead full strength. And I'm going to go ahead, let's see how I want my berries to go here. I'm going to make two. So I'm going to put one like that. And then I'm going to turn it slightly and add another one. So there's my image. And it did overlap a little bit, but that's fine because when I start painting, those lines are going to melt together and it'll look just right. Now I'm going to be using my watercolor paints today, and they look like this. So I just have three colors, yellow, red, and blue. But if you have some water-based inks, the kind that you use to refresh your stamp pad, those will work beautifully. Just make sure that they're water-based. Okay, so I'm going to begin. I'm just going to take a little bit of my red, and I'm going to start my berries. Just like so. And I'm being careful to leave a little bit of a white area as a highlight. I'll go into this with a lot more detail in the watercolor card club if you're somebody who has subscribed to that. And you will get a complete list of all the materials that you'll want to have on hand. And there's also a lot more to it. Okay, so when you subscribe to the watercolor card club, you're also invited to participate in a live Zoom session where you can show me your pictures and ask questions and get a constructive critique. You'll also have a chance to see everybody else's pictures, and it's a great group. It's a lot of fun. You'll get the card kit each month, which contains materials for 4 note cards, full size. That's 4.5 by, or 4.25 by 5.5, and the watercolor paper. And you'll also have the option to come join our private Facebook group where you can share your pictures, see what everybody else is doing, ask questions, and access the video tutorial. You can cancel anytime, And again, if that's something you'd like to find out more information about, please visit my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com and go to the Watercolor Card Club tab, and you'll be able to find out all about it. So I'm just putting a light wash of green on my leaves. So if you're using the water-based inks, you want to be sure that you're using plenty of water to dilute the ink, because it's very concentrated. And after the video today, I will also be listing all of the supplies that I'm using to create this card, and some extra things that you may want to have on hand so that you can create as many of these cards as you'd like. And I'm going to leave a couple of little spots on the leaves as highlights here and there. There we go. And the last leaf. And now I'm just going to go back in. I'm making a stronger mixture of my green. I'm just mixing my blue and my yellow together, and I'm keeping it kind of dark for the beautiful holly leaves, which are on the dark side of green. And I can just add a little more drawing to the leaves and get that center stem. Got those little pointy spikes, which are so distinctive. Now, I don't remember, did I tell you? This is a quarter-sized piece of the Fluid 100 paper. So it measures, let me get this in the light where I can see it. It measures just 3.5 by 2.5. So it's very small. It's not going to take you a lot of time to paint. You'll be able to do several of these at a time for your Christmas cards or tags, whatever it is that you'd like to paint hollies onto. And I'm just continuing to add a few details, not too much. Keep it simple. And just going to add a little more green to some of these leaves that look a little bit pale. think that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a little more red to some of these berries. So I'm making a nice rich red mixture. And I'm just going to add a couple of strokes to my berries here and there. There we go. That's all there is to it. Anybody could do it. Just get out your watercolors, your inks, and your brush, and you are good to go. So there's a really cute little picture of some holly. And I'm going to get my other supplies here. I'm just going to grab my bone folder and give that a nice burnish so that this crease is nice and sharp. Now what you can do is you can mount your painting directly to the card base, but I actually have a little piece of very thin gold foil, and this is actually a wrapper from a Ferrero Rocher, and you can just cut that, or what I did was I just tore it down to size, and I'm going to mount that on there something like that. But before I do, I want to add a little bow, and I'm going to get out my piercing pad here, and I'm going to get my piercer. And oh, well, before I do that, let's see. Let me see where I want this to go. I think I better stamp my sentiment first. So I'm using the Real Red ink, and from the Itty Bitty Christmas, I'm using the Season's Greeting, which I really like this font. Or actually, I should say script. It's not actually a font. So let's see. Excuse me if I get my head in the camera here so I can see what I'm doing. So there's my greeting, and this is why I love this stamp set so much, because this little piece of paper is only 1/2 inch wide, and you can get these really cute little sentiments on a tiny scrap of paper. So I'm just going to trim the edge. I'm just going to put a little flag or pennant or banner, whatever you want to call it, just like so. So now I want to see how I want this to come together. Okay. I've got paint on my fingers. Let me see if I can clean that up a little bit. I got a little smudge of red paint. It wasn't completely dry. So I'm just going to mop that up with my brush. And I'm going to grab a paper towel. There we go, that's pretty good. Actually, I think that was ink, not paint. That's all right. We're all right here. So then I'm going to pierce this in 2 places. Get that exactly where I want it. And I'm just going to put 2 holes just like that. And I'm using my big embroidery needle here, and I'm just going to pass that through. Just get a little end of my ribbon. And give that a good tug and come up the other side. And I'm going to tie that in a cute bow. Now this ribbon that comes with the itty bitty Christmas stamp set kit that I'm putting together today is also retired, and it comes in a pack of 2, so you get red and green ribbon together in one pack, and it has this really pretty gold edge on it, and it's very thin. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, which is perfect for these little cards and also if you're stringing up ornaments. So I'm just going to trim that. Now I'm going to mount that on my gold foil. So for this, I'm just using my Tombow liquid glue. And you want to remember when you're using a metallic paper like this gold foil that you give it plenty of time to dry because it's not as absorbent as the paper is. So just give that a minute to set up. And I'm going to go ahead, put a little glue on the back. Oh, Shelley wants to know what size brush I'm using. So Shelley, because this is such a tiny little picture, I'm just using a number 4 brush, and that is a it's oh, there's where the ink got to. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna have to get a new card. I'll save this for another project. The yeah, now I'm seeing the ink everywhere. I wonder how I did that. You probably saw me do it and were thinking, oh no, don't touch. Anyway, it's okay. It's only paper. Not to worry. So here's a new card base, fresh and clean. And carefully pick this up. And I really, you know, I love these smaller sizes too. There's just something very kind of vintage and dainty about it. So there it is, the beautiful little holly painting with the itty bitty Christmas stamp set, which is now retired. But if you didn't get it, or if you'd like to have it, go ahead and send me an email or direct message me, and I will send you a kit with the itty bitty stamp set. Also, the 2 rolls of ribbon, some embellishments of my choice, half a pack of the Fluid 100 paper, and a complete pack of the note cards and envelopes. And that's along with this stamp set. So I had 3. I believe I've already sold 1. So I've got 2 left. If you'd like to get a hold of that, just go ahead and send me an email, direct message me, and I will give you a link so that you can pay me. And I'll get that out in the mail to you today. Also, I want to remind you that the December Watercolor Card Club has just 3 more days to subscribe. So that's going to be over on December 11th. And you're not going to want to miss the December subscription because it comes with a little gift from me to thank you. And you'll have that in time to be able to learn how to paint holly and use it on your paper crafting projects this holiday season. So thank you so much for joining me today. Shelley, it's a Winsor & Newton Series 7 number 4 sable brush that I used today, but you could also use your water painters. They're not too big, so that will be listed in the supplies below after I do the video. And let me just see, are there any more questions here? Oh yes, Kit, the Rochers are awesome, my favorite, and they're perfect for the crafter, as you can see. And Kelly asks, is it difficult to straighten out the gold foil? No, you have to unwrap them really carefully because it does tear easy, and that's okay. I mean, you can see I've got some tears in here, and then I just tear the edges anyway. But what I do is I just put them on a flat surface, and then I'll take like a paper towel or a tissue or something, and I'll just burnish it down, and it flattens out right away. And of course it's okay if it has those little folds. It just adds even more interest to it. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun, and you can use those scraps for all sorts of collage and other projects. I think I think I've answered all your questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. It makes me so happy to see you all. And stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you again on Saturday at 12 noon live. And I think it's going to be a really fun video because, or what do we call this? A live. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that it's going to be about the Christmas journal and how to decorate it on the inside. So I think you'll enjoy that. Alrighty, all for now. See you next time.